What's up guys, welcome back from the YgoPro duel video. Next match, Cross-Banlist Cup. It's time, I guess. Two big title candidates are paired up against each other, and yeah, it's you know their potential last match in the entire tournament, right? So two big decks, right? And the deck that loses this one will be out of the tournament. First of all, we have extra deck Monarchs again, a huge title candidate. It was a winner of I believe it was a last Cross-Banlist Cup edition, you know, from previous year. So definitely still a title candidate, right? But it will definitely have a couple of very tough matchups, and the first of, well, many probably, who knows, will be this one, Pendulum Magicians, of course. I mean, this is Pendulum Magicians pre-Master Rule 4, right before Master Rule 4 hit the scene, so we know that they have like once per turn, return from a different dimension, and the fact that Double Iris Magician is unlimited with the addition of Astrograph Sorcerer, and you know, like the insane consistency of this deck will definitely make Monarchs a very like I think a good matchup. But anyway, so which deck has the advantage? And in all honesty, before this matchup I was like, well, no clue which deck would, you know, have like the advantage. I felt that, and I'm a bit honest, that Pendulum Magicians in theory should have the slight advantage over Monarchs. I'm looking at, you know, small cards like the hand traps, for example. I'm looking at Ash Blossom, you know, a very powerful hand trap, especially here in this particular matchup. Then again, Monarchs on their own aren't really running too many, like, protection cards, and I mean hand traps, that is, like Maxi. Anyway, so going first is definitely important. It's much more important in case of Monarchs than it is for Pendulum Magicians. Again, Pendulum Magicians can definitely go second, looking at Ash Blossom, seeing how strong that card is. And I'm opening with a very subpar opening hand. I needed that Brilliant Fusion, right, for the extra Monarch summon, but well, yeah, during my turn that is. Luckily, Aether is at 3 here in the deck, same for Pantheism and Stormfort, so I have the ability to play during the opponent's turn. So immediately use Stormfort again, but you know, like the thing here is that Pendulum Magicians pre-Master Rule 4, you know, during Master Rule 3 was just ridiculous. And again, I'm forced to preemptively use Prime here during my opponent's main phase, I believe, is a chain on Abyss Dweller. Otherwise, he would have been able to attack for a game, but again, in the long run, it's not going to matter too much. And the Pendulum Graph Trap card is such a ridiculous card. Basically a Treasure Trap hole during both players' turn, but it's not only restricted to monsters, but it hits the back row as well, and that's so crucial. So game number 2, there was something in the back of my mind saying that, well, maybe you should go second as a Monarch player, but then again, I mean, I look at Pendulum Magicians and the fact that they have Ash Blossom, they have the Pendulum Graph Trap card, they have Omega, I don't want to risk that. And this is, you know, like opening with the mandatory Lazuli in this particular match. It was just bound to happen. Anyway, this opening hand is decent, I guess. It could have been worse, but again, triple Pantheism definitely helps out, and Kuras quite also saves the day, giving me the extra draws. And the reason why I use Stormfort here is because of the potential Omega. You know, Omega could potentially snipe a chained or an activated Aether in the, at least in my hand, that is, and that's something that I don't want to risk. So that's why I need to make like a weak Stormfort Aether play, you know, only tributing the tuner, that is, since again I don't want to risk him going for Omega. Of course, I want to hit something like Ignister, but again, that's not really sure if that's going to, or that would hit the field in the long run. Anyway, this is a strong presence, right? With the Aether in hand, return on my side of the field for another Surge during my turn, and play these to interrupt any of the pick plays, like, well, yeah, like Ignister or whatever. Here I do take the chance of the opponent potentially going for, you know, Omega, that's fine. Like Maxi giving me the extra draws and extra pluses definitely helps out and can definitely equalize the playing field. Kuras, I believe the second Kuras definitely helps out, getting rid of the Ignister, and yeah, just I'm getting too many draws. I have a couple of options again, going for the extra deck play, going for the Stormfort play. I do opt to go for the extra deck play, so no Stormfort this turn, but again, yeah, Volcasaurus basically forces out the Pendulum Time, the Pendulum Graph Trap, but Erebus follows it up with the extra beneficial effect, so I can eventually go for a game. So very long duel, but yeah, that's how it is, right? I believe this is the way I should be winning this one. Or at least I hope I have to win this one, right? Anyway, game number 3, Pendulum Magicians opened up, and that's definitely a problem. I mean, Pendulum Magicians do have like a very big extra deck, a lot of options, like Dweller. Dweller is definitely good, but not that great first turn. Well, it can negate Pantheism, I guess, the graveyard effect, so that's fine. But Tornado Dragon is definitely a big deal as well. It hits return, it hits Brilliant Fusion also, like a continuous spell, so that's definitely that's definitely big. And yeah, on top of that, having the Pendulum Graph Trap is again so ridiculous. You know, just the fact that you're first of all able to potentially get rid of 2 of your opponent's cards, either spell, traps or monsters, that's already quite big. But at the same time getting another search, like with, you know, like Double Iris or a Monster Reborn effect if you destroy Black Fang. And who knows, maybe you have Astrograph Soulsor in your hand for the extra, well, special summon and search as well. It's so ridiculous, and Tiras doesn't really matter too much. Well, any extra deck summon would not have mattered too much, and I can quickly scoop up my cards, and we can quickly go to, you know, game number 4. So yeah, what can I do, right? Idea Eidos, it's just not happening. So next game, this is definitely okay, definitely an okay opening hand. Opening Domain was definitely needed, and a potential Ash Blossom here on the Brilliant Fusion probably would have been game already. But luckily no Ash Blossom, so I'm still very much live in the duel, and this is again a well-desired setup. Double Tribute Summon is very strong, especially because one of those Tribute Summons being the Erebus, getting rid of my opponent, at least 1 card from the opponent's hand, and have Stormfort Aether ready. So this is, you know, what can I expect more? Maybe a Maxi would definitely seal the deal. But again, same as before, should I risk my opponent from going for Omega? I don't think so. Again, and I think, you know, there was a knowledge that I had a Stormfort Aether play ready, so yeah, there would definitely have been the Omega play first. So again, I had to make like a subpar, a Stormfort Aether play, and still have the opponent's like multiple options, and follow it up with potential extra deck plays, like Exceed plays or whatever. But again, the big problem of the deck is Double Iris Magician is legal F3 here, and the fact that you're able to search out your Pendulum Graph Trap is so ridiculous. I mean, maybe I should have gone just to the battle phase. I probably would have lost both my Monarchs, but what can I do, right? Again, I did not have the extra Tribute Summon. And yeah, because I went for the extra deck summon, I can't go for Stormfort, so it's a little bit difficult, right? And here I believe this will be the second Stormfort Aether play. That just shows how ridiculous Pendulum Magicians is, right? I mean, the fact that you can Stormfort Aether your opponent twice, and the opponent's deck is still at the advantage. That feels so underwhelming from my perspective. So you're anyway getting, I believe, Erebus on the field. I'm not really sure, but it's just the thing here is okay, Black Fang is going to trigger, getting another, I guess another level 4 on the field for Tornado Dragon, since I needed the Prime Monarch, because I'm not really sure how many potential Monarch effects I still have in my, at least I still have ready. I don't think that I do have, yeah, indeed, I don't think I have any Monarch plays ready. Because, you know, no spells and traps, and yeah, as mentioned before, the Pendulum Graph Trap is just too powerful. A Treasure Strapple hitting, yeah, monster spells, traps, once per turn during both players' turns is just too much. Especially because this deck only plays 1 Twin Twister, and I believe you should definitely, if you want to have a chance against this Pendulum deck, you definitely want more Twin Twisters. Hope that your opponent doesn't have Pendulum Call, which happened a couple of times, but something like Galaxy Cyclone hitting or chaining to a Pendulum Graph Trap is definitely something a deck wants, you know, a particular deck definitely wants to have as a matchup if it's paired up against this Pendulum Magician deck. So yeah, Monarchs, what can we do? I believe this was definitely an okay or good matchup, but Pendulums proved to be a bit stronger compared to Monarchs, right? And That's how it is. So 4 decks still remaining. We have Yugioh versus Pendulum Magicians, but the next matchup here far on the right, the small finals. We have King Dinosaur Yangzing versus Zodiac Beast. So again, guys, feel free to leave, your opinion, which deck is going to win next matchup. And yeah, like always, feel free to leave a comment or a like if you enjoyed the video. YgoPro signing out. Peace.